Hi, my name is John Karazsia, and I'm a staff writer for the Greene County Daily World. As a feature to our readers, we were going to have a debate between Republican candidate John Correll and Democratic candidate John Wilkes. But due to scheduling conflicts, John Wilkes was unable to attend. So today, we are going to do a question and answer session with Republican candidate John Correll. Hi, I'm John Correll. I'm a staff writer for the Greene County Daily World, and I'm here with Republican candidate for Linton Mayor, John Correll. So, John, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm fine, Grant. How are you?
Oh, been better.
Okay. Thanks for meeting with me.
Oh, not a problem. Well, so tell me a little about yourself. Where did you grow up? What did you do for a career?
Okay. John Correll, and I was born and raised here in Linton. I'm 65 years old. I graduated from Linton High School in the infamous class of '68.
Oh, why is it infamous?
Oh, we made it very emphasis, trust me. As soon as I got out of high school, I joined the Navy. The Vietnam War was kind of heating up, and I wanted to go to the service. And got out of the service, I was married and had a first child and son, and followed a career of mining for about 40 years. And was able to work our careers where we moved back home to Linton about 5 years ago.
That's great. And so, following your career path in education, how does that qualify you to be Linton Mayor?
Oh, that's a good question. The career that I've had is both the private sector mining for about 28 years and then 12 years in the public sector in the federal government Department of Labor. And I was able to accumulate various experiences all over the country and how to run an organization, how to manage people, how to budget. I had quite large budgets in the federal government, too large a budget in the federal government. But I've managed hundreds of people, both non-union and union, government union employees. Not many people have had that opportunity, and I have. All of my mining career was in mine safety and health, and that's a unique area. People want safety in mining. It's a very hazardous occupation, but you have to really know how to build a coalition of people to move it forward and to gain some kind of consensus with people where everyone's on board, everyone says, hey, that's the way to go, we'll wear that equipment.
Okay, so you're always, when you were doing your job, have to keep up to date with the new regulations and new
Absolutely.
things. Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, the last several years of my career, when you mentioned regulations, I led the Mine Safety and Health Administration in Washington, which is like OSHA, except it's strictly mining. Okay. So I really understand laws, I understand rules and regulations, I understand people, what motivates them, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity had I not pursued a career that unfortunately did take me away from Linton, but we never lost touch. This is our hometown.
Great. And so I know the topic of police and fire protection has been kind of big around Linton for the last couple of years. Do you feel like we have adequate coverage? And if not, how would you propose the city improves that?
That's an excellent question. I think the #1 job of a mayor of Linton is to provide a safe, secure, healthy environment for the community. And right at the center of that is our police department, our fire department, our EMS personnel. That's the hub. We've had layoffs in the police department. One of the first things, if elected, I'll take a look at that and see, are we adequately staffed? I want to make sure that we're adequately trained. I'm assured that that has happened, but I'd like to make sure of that. There's been a lot of talk about the fire department, and I've met with the fire departments, I've met with the police departments and the EMS folks, and as far as I can tell, they're top notch. I just want to make sure they have everything they need to protect this community. That it really is the #1 job of a mayor, I think, is to ensure that we've got a safe and secure, healthy community, and that includes your fire protection.
Of course. And in terms of budgets, you know, you want to make sure that the money is being allocated in a perfect way.
Exactly. Exactly. And everything is driven by budgets, but I'm not unaccustomed to saying the budget is going to cause us to restrict. Where should we restrict? It's not automatically going to be in the police department, the fire department. There's a lot of things. My goal, if I'm elected mayor, is to do more with less. Now, Grant, less does not mean less people. It means less waste. Let's maximize our efficiency. Wring out the budget, find where the dollars are being spent unnecessarily. It might be training, it might be job descriptions. It might be having people do jobs that aren't really that necessary. But let's find a way to make it happen. That's what my experience has done over the years.
You mentioned earlier that you moved back to town 5 years ago.
About that.
About 5 years ago. So what was kind of the decisions that led you to want to run for mayor?
I had thought about running for mayor over the years from time to time when I've seen mayors come and go. It was never a goal of mine. My initial thinking was actually to run as a city councilman this time. And I talked to someone who I dearly trusted and said, I'm thinking about running for city council, what would you think? And I got so surprised. This person who I emphatically adore said that I could do that, but that would be kind of a mistake. This person was very knowledgeable in my career, and he said, with your experience in education, Linton needs someone like you. And the more I thought about it, I thought, well, I don't think I can make the change that I would like to see happen as a councilman, but I could do it as a mayor, and that's what caused me to run.
And this is the first time you've ever sought political office?
Yes,
correct?
yes it is. Now I've run for board of directors, but non-political. I was on board of directors at a neighborhood association where we lived, and that was by votes, but that's not a political. And my career in government was all career as well. It was not a political appointee. It was a government senior executive.
Great. So one issue that's been facing Linton for quite some time has been the flooding that's kind of went down and messes up the parking, you know, local businesses and houses. So how would you propose we finally fix this flooding issue?
Yeah, that is a very significant problem, and I'm glad you brought it up. My first thing would be to look at what's been done up to this point. And I would hope that there's been a survey done and that there's been a lot of documentation as to what is the problem. One of my observations is that a lot of storm drains around the town, some have actually been paved over, others are clogged up on top. No way water can run down through them. I would commission a study using our own employees within the street department, identify every drain that's not operable, every drain that is, identify what do we need to fix it. I'm very, very big on planning, short-term and long-term planning, and that is an area that definitely needs a plan, and I would fix it that way.
Great. My next question has to deal with kind of efficiency of Linton. So Linton, like many other smaller communities, have been faced with having to cut their budgets recently.
Yes.
And that's kind of all across the board with all these communities. Do you think the city of Linton is properly utilizing what money they have? And subsequently, how would you make the city of Linton run more efficiently?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Being the challenger, you don't have access to all the ins and outs of a budget. And I've not had the ability to actually study the budget per se. But I have plenty of experience with budgeting and with running an organization, and I would feel very comfortable in saying this. We need to do more with less. Less does not necessarily mean less people. A lot of people will hear that and say, oh, he's going to lay off people. Not necessarily. We need to maximize our efficiency. We need to have job standards. We need to have job descriptions for every employee. We need to train and develop our people. Make sure that they know the safe way to do their work and the most efficient way to do the work. We need to study the budget. Are we spending money where we don't need to? Can we be smarter? And I don't mean to be offending the current administration. I'm not saying they're not smart. But can we be smarter in how we spend our people's money? And that's the way I approach life, and that's the way I would approach this mayor job.
I understand. So you're saying basically, you know, with your former experience in budgets and working with larger sort of budgets,
exactly,
that you would have an edge.
I believe so. I believe so. Yeah, it's been common in my career and the background, whether I work for a corporation or for the government, for a word come down the line to me, we got to cut budget. You know, productivity's down, or budget's got to be cut. That would not be a new message for me. And my immediate reaction has always been, let's take a look at where the money's going now. Where are we spending money? Where can we get better? Where can we do the same job in a different way and cut cost? So you don't immediately lay people off. That's not the first thing you do. It's about the last thing you do. But you look for productivity. You look for ways to improve the process. And for me, it's always been in the planning. I love to plan. I love to hold people accountable. in a plan is who does what, when, and how. And once you identify who does what, when, and how they're going to do it, and how we're going to pay for it, you map it out and you measure it. And I don't mean to make it sound so simple. It's very hard, but I love it, and that's the way to make things happen.
Absolutely. And finally, I guess my last question I would like to ask you is, what do you think is the biggest issue facing Linton at this time?
Leadership.
Leadership?
Leadership. I see us moving into an area where we would all like to see Linton more prosperous. We would like to see the downtown area renovated. We'd like to see a big box store come in with new jobs. Meanwhile, our infrastructure is falling apart. Doors that I knock on, good citizens ask me to go to their backyard and look at their sewer system. It's caving in. They're afraid to let the kids play out there. There was an article in the paper recently that said if we keep putting this coal patch in this pothole mentality, we're going to have gravel roads in Linton. You can't reach prosperity without doing the basics. Take care of our city. Take care of our residents. Build the infrastructure up. Long-range plan. We should know when C Street's going to get repaved in 22 years. You're going to change that over the years, but you got a goal, you got a vision, you got a plan. That all takes leadership, and we don't have that.
So you've been walking around, knocking on door to door for your
Many
campaign.
of them, yes.
So,
and I've not been shot one time.
So, what is the biggest kind of concern you hear from the citizens? From your conversations?
I hear a lot. Excuse me. I hear a lot of ideas, and I'm big on listening. I love to listen to people and really think about what they're saying. Excuse me. A lot of people are talking about jobs. Jobs are very important. I come from the mining community. Sunrise just laid off 175 people. That translates to a lot more than that in our community. Other service jobs are eliminated because miners don't have money to pay for other things. People are worried about that. But by and large, most of the people are saying, you can't walk down my street without falling in a pothole. Or when it rains, my backyard's flooded. Those are the things I think are fundamental for the mayor of Linton. You got to fix the infrastructure before you can attract anything else. A good leader, and I believe I am a good leader, will also work with organizations, the downtown renovation. I don't look for the city to build, but lead, challenge, encourage, coordinate. Those are all things that we should be doing. And I think the mayor has to be the leader. And if elected, I would accept that challenge.
Absolutely. Well, John, thank you for talking with me this afternoon. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Grant, very much.
All right. And thanks to everybody who tuned in this evening or morning or whenever you're watching this. Have a nice night.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching this video. And once more, make sure you exercise your right to vote on Tuesday, November 3rd. Also, thanks to the Linton Community Development Corporation for producing this video. And once more, I'm Karazsia of the Greene County Daily World.